Ever feel like everyone else has got this whole UAE VAT system figured out except you, especially when it comes to running a restaurant?
It's a common misconception that it's as simple as slapping a 5% on everything.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about.
But the truth is, there are hidden depths and surprising opportunities within those regulations that can make or break your restaurant's bottom line.
So we're diving deep into UAE restaurant VAT, and not just the surface stuff everyone already knows. We're talking about the kind of insider info that can help you actually optimize your business.
Absolutely. Think of this deep dive as a masterclass in turning VAT from a potential headache into a strategic advantage. And we'll do it all without getting bogged down in jargon.
Music to my ears. So VAT, in a nutshell, it's a consumption tax, right? Like a little something extra the government adds on to keep the lights on.
Precisely. And in the UAE, it's been a core part of the financial landscape since 2018, impacting everything from what you pay for ingredients to the final price on your customer's bill.
2018? Yep, I vaguely remember the VAT rollout. Chaos at the supermarket, everyone hoarding toilet paper. Good times. But now it feels like it's just become part of the background noise.
Exactly, and that's why it's easy to overlook its complexities, especially for busy restaurant owners. Because while that standard 5% rate you mentioned does apply to most restaurant services, there are exceptions, variations, and strategic considerations that can make a world of difference.
Okay, so you're telling me there's more to this VAT game than meets the eye. What kind of variations are we talking about?
One of the most significant factors that can shake things up is whether your restaurant operates within a free zone.
Free zones. See, now this is where things get interesting. I always hear about those, but to be honest, I don't fully grasp how they work. Are we talking about some sort of VAT haven?
Not quite a haven, but definitely a unique playing field. Understanding the difference between a designated zone and a non-designated zone is crucial for any restaurateur operating within these areas.
Designated versus non-designated. Sounds intriguing and potentially lucrative if I'm picking up what you're putting down. So let's break it down. What's the difference and why should our listeners be paying close attention?
Imagine this. Designated zones have the potential to offer sweet VAT exemptions, particularly for goods and services consumed within the zone itself.
VAT exemptions, now those are two words I love to hear together.
We're talking about a significant advantage that can free up cash flow and boost profitability.
But I'm guessing it's not as simple as setting up shop in a designated zone and calling it a day, right?
You're right, there's always a bit of nuance. The exemptions are usually quite specific. For instance, raw materials for a restaurant located and consumed within a designated zone might be exempt. However, the same exemption might not apply if the restaurant is in a non-designated zone.
Okay, starting to see the complexity here. So location is key, and understanding those specific exemptions within each designated zone is crucial. But what about those non-designated zones? Are they subject to the standard 5% VAT across the board?
Exactly. Non-designated zones, while still offering various business advantages, generally adhere to the standard 5% VAT rule. So restaurants in those zones need to be just as meticulous about their VAT calculations and compliance as their mainland counterparts.
Got it. So first things first for aspiring free zone restaurateurs. Figure out if it's designated or non-designated, and then delve into the specific VAT exemptions that might apply to your chosen zone. But let's not forget about the day-to-day VAT implications for all restaurants, free zone or not. We're talking about food, drinks, supplies, the stuff that keeps the kitchen running. How does VA factor into all of that?
It's all about recognizing that VA touches every aspect of your operation, from sourcing ingredients to serving that final dish. While many of those elements do fall under that familiar 5% rate, there are some nuances that can catch you off guard if you're not careful.
Okay, I'm all ears. Hit me with those VAT nuances.
Let's take alcoholic beverages, for example. While generally taxed at 5% VAT, they often attract additional taxes and duties depending on the specific emirate you're operating in. We're talking about things like municipality fees, tourism dirhams, and even sin taxes, which can vary significantly.
Wait, additional taxes on top of the 5%? No, that's what I call a hidden cost. So a restaurant owner needs to factor in these extra charges, which could vary from one emirate to the next. Talk about a logistical challenge, especially for a restaurant group operating across multiple emirates.
Precisely. And that's just one example. Importing supplies, especially for those venturing into the world of free zones, can also have unexpected VAT implications that can impact your bottom line if you're not careful.
Imports. Another layer of the VAT onion. So what are the key things our listeners need to keep in mind when it comes to importing supplies and navigating the VAT maze?
Importing supplies for your restaurant, It's like stepping onto a culinary roller coaster, especially within those free zones we discussed.
Okay.
But don't worry, once you understand the intricacies of import VAT, you can navigate those twists and turns like a pro.
Okay, so walk me through it. What are the key things our listeners should be aware of when importing those culinary treasures?
One word. Refunds.
Refunds.
Understanding the system for import VAT refunds is like finding a golden ticket for your restaurant's finances. Essentially, you can claim back the VAT you've paid on those imported goods, which can significantly impact your cash flow.
Refunds music to my ears. So it's not just about minimizing VH, it's also about strategically reclaiming what you've already paid. That's a game changer, especially for restaurants working with tighter margins.
Exactly. Let's say you're importing a shipment of specialty spices from India. You get hit with import VAT, which can feel like a blow to your budget.
Yeah.
But by meticulously documenting those expenses and navigating the refund process, you can potentially recoup that VAT, freeing up funds for other investments.
Okay, I'm seeing the strategic advantage here. It's like a little bonus for staying organized and on top of your VAT game.
Precisely. And it's not just about imports. Remember how we talked about VAT being woven to every aspect of your restaurant, from those imported spices to the locally sourced vegetables? Well, there's a concept called input VAT that can make a world of difference to your bottom line.
Input VAT. I've heard whispers of this mythical creature, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure I grasp the concept. Break it down for me.
Imagine this. You're purchasing a brand new state-of-the-art oven for your restaurant. Exciting, right?
Yeah.
But that shiny new oven comes with a hefty price tag. And you guessed it, a chunk of that price is VAT.
Yeah, the tax man always finds a way to get his slice, even when you're just trying to upgrade your culinary arsenal.
True, but here's where input VAT swoops in to save the day. Input VAT is essentially the VAT you've already paid on your business expenses, like that fancy oven, those fresh ingredients, even your restaurant's electricity bill. The beauty is you can potentially claim back a portion of that VAT, reducing your overall VAT liability.
Wait, so it's like a VAT rebate program built right into the system. I'm liking the sound of this.
Exactly. Let's break it down with a simple example. Say you purchase AED 1,000 worth of fresh seafood for your restaurant signature dish. You paid AED 50 in VAT on that purchase. Now, by claiming input VAT, you can potentially get that AED 50 back, reducing your overall tax burden.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. It's like getting a little thank you from the government for supporting local businesses and keeping those kitchens humming.
Precisely. And the best part is, it's not just limited to big-ticket items like ovens. You can claim input VAT on a wide range of expenses, from those everyday ingredients to essential supplies, even accounting software to help you manage it all.
So it's all about being meticulous with those receipts, keeping track of every dirham spent and strategically claiming that input VAT.
Exactly. It might seem like a tedious task, but trust me, those dirhams add up. And with the right accounting system in place, it doesn't have to be a logistical nightmare. In fact, many software solutions can automate much of the process for you.
Technology to the rescue. I love it when a good app can streamline those financial complexities and free up more time for what matters most, crafting delicious dishes and delighting customers.
Absolutely. Speaking of crafting those dishes, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about how VA impacts those fun elements that make a restaurant. Unique promotions, loyalty programs, gift vouchers. These are the things that make customers smile, but they also add another layer of complexity to the VAT equation.
Right, because you want to make sure you're still staying compliant while offering those attractive deals and perks to your customers. It's all about finding that balance.
You've hit the nail on the head. And the key thing to remember is that VAT is always calculated on the final price the customer pays, regardless of any discounts or promotions you offer.
Okay, so let's say I'm running a buy one, get one free promotion on pizzas every Tuesday. The VAT is calculated on the price of that one pizza the customer actually pays for, not the theoretical price of two pizzas.
Precisely. Transparency is key here. It's about being upfront with your customers about how VAT is applied, especially when those discounts and promotions come into play. No hidden surprises on the final bill.
Transparency builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. Makes perfect sense. But what about gift vouchers? Those always seem to throw a wrench into the works when it comes to taxes.
Gift vouchers do add an interesting wrinkle to the VAT calculation. Here's the thing. VAT is only applied when the voucher is redeemed for a meal, not at the time of purchase.
So it's like a delayed VAT gratification. That makes sense because until that voucher is redeemed, it's just a promise of a future culinary experience. It hasn't been consumed yet.
You got it. And this principle of consumption is crucial to understanding VAT. But let's circle back to a topic we touched on earlier, the strategic timing of those big purchases for your restaurant.
Ah, yes, timing is everything they say. How can our listeners use timing to their advantage in the VAT game? Give us those insider secrets.
Well, imagine you're planning to renovate your restaurant, maybe splurging on some stylish new furniture and decor, a significant investment for any restaurateur.
Yeah.
Now, if you time that purchase strategically towards the end of your VAT return period, you can potentially maximize your input VAT refund for that specific period.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. So, by strategically timing those larger expenses, you're essentially front-loading your input VAT claims, which can free up cash flow for other areas of your business. It's like a financial domino effect.
Precisely. It's a subtle shift in timing, but it can significantly impact your financial flexibility, especially if you're dealing with substantial expenses like renovations or equipment upgrades.
It's all about thinking like a financial chess master, making strategic moves to stay ahead of the game. But let's be realistic, not every restaurant owner has the luxury of perfectly timing those big purchases. Things come up, that shiny new espresso machine breaks down unexpectedly. So how can restaurants adapt to those unforeseen circumstances?
You're absolutely right. Flexibility is key in the culinary world, and that extends to your VAT planning as well. While strategically timing those big purchases is ideal, it's not always feasible. That's why it's crucial to have a solid understanding of your cash flow, maintain a healthy financial buffer, and be prepared to adjust your strategy as needed.
So it's about finding that balance between strategic planning and being agile enough to roll with the punches, especially in an industry as dynamic as the restaurant business.
Precisely. And while we've been focusing on the here and now of VA, let's not forget that the regulatory landscape is constantly evolving. What's true today might not be true tomorrow.
Okay, now you've got me a little nervous. The last thing any restaurant owner needs is to be blindsided by a sudden VA change that throws their entire financial plan out of whack. So how can our listeners stay ahead of the curve and avoid those VAT-related surprises?
Information is power, my friend, especially in the ever-changing world of VA.
So it's about staying connected, doing your research, and being prepared to adapt to those inevitable V8 twists and turns. But let's be honest, keeping up with every single V8 update. What strategies you recommend for staying in the V8 loop without losing your mind?
Absolutely. The Federal Tax Authority, the FTA, is your best friend when it comes to staying informed about VAT regulations. They have a wealth of information on their website, including the latest updates, guides, and FAQs.
Okay, the FTA website, that's a good starting point. But what about those of us who find wading through government websites about as appealing as a burnt croissant? Are there any more digestible ways to stay in the know?
I hear you. Luckily, there are plenty of alternative options. Industry publications and associations often provide simplified summaries and analyses of VAT changes specifically tailored for the restaurant sector. And don't underestimate the power of networking. Connecting with fellow restaurateurs and industry professionals can provide invaluable insights and keep you in the loop about upcoming changes or challenges.
Networking, knowledge sharing, it's all about building that community of support. I love that. But beyond just staying informed, are there any proactive steps restaurant owners can take to prepare for those potential VAT curveballs down the road?
Absolutely. One of the most effective strategies is to build flexibility into your pricing structure.
Okay, flexibility in pricing. Tell me more. How does that work in practice?
Think of it like building shock absorbers into your menu. You want a system that can handle bumps in the road, those VAT rate changes, without sending your prices through the roof.
So you're not caught off guard scrambling to reprint menus every time the VAT percentage shifts by a point or two?
Exactly. It's about having a deep understanding of your profit margins for each dish, knowing your costs inside and out, and being ready to make those pricing tweaks strategically without giving your customers sticker shock.
Finding that sweet spot between protecting your profits and keeping your menu enticing. It's a delicate dance, but one that every savvy restaurateur needs to master.
Precisely. And that's where technology can really come in handy.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Tell me more. What kind of tech wizardry can help restaurants navigate those VA changes without breaking a sweat?
Your point of sale system, your trusty POS, is your best friend here. But not all POS systems are created equal. You need one that can seamlessly adapt to VAT adjustments, automatically calculating those new rates without you having to manually reprogram every item.
Okay, that makes sense. The last thing I want to be doing is hunched over my POS at 2.0 a.m. recalculating VAT on every single dessert. So a tech-savvy approach to choosing your POS system is crucial.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the tech itself. It's about embracing a mindset of adaptability, being willing to evolve your business practices alongside those VAT changes.
It's like that classic saying, the only constant is change. And in the world of UAE restaurant VAT, that couldn't be truer.
Exactly. Which brings us to a crucial question. How can you, as a restaurant owner, turn those potential VAT complexities into opportunities not just for financial gain, but for enhanced customer loyalty and brand differentiation?
Ooh, now you're speaking my language. Turning a potential challenge into a competitive advantage. It's like culinary alchemy.
Precisely. Think
Yeah.
of it this way. Instead of seeing VAT as a burden, why not weave it into your brand's narrative?
Okay, now you're blowing my mind. How do you weave a tax into your brand story? That sounds like a job for a marketing magician.
It's all about transparency and creativity. Let's say you're committed to sourcing locally grown organic produce. Highlight that. Tell your customers how minimizing import VAT allows you to offer them fresher, more sustainable dishes while supporting local farmers.
So you're turning a potential pricing conversation into a positive story about your restaurant's values and commitment to quality. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say there's a VAT increase down the line. Instead of simply raising prices across the board, why not get creative with your menu offerings?
Ooh, I love a good menu makeover. Give me an example.
Perhaps you introduce a prefix menu that strategically bundles items with favorable VAT treatments, offering customers an incredible value while cleverly navigating those cost fluctuations.
So you're not just absorbing the VAT hit, you're finding creative ways to mitigate it while still offering your customers a fantastic dining experience.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and innovative. And who knows, that VAT-inspired menu shakeup might just become your restaurant's signature offering.
I love that, turning a potential obstacle into an opportunity for culinary creativity. That's what this deep dive is all about.
Precisely. Because at the end of the day, VAT is just one ingredient in the recipe for a successful restaurant. And with the right knowledge and a dash of strategic thinking, you can master this ingredient and spice up your culinary journey.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this surprisingly fascinating world of UAE restaurant VAT. But as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one key takeaway. What's the most important thing for restaurant owners to remember as they navigate this VAT landscape?
Knowledge truly is power in this arena. The more you understand the nuances of VAT, the better equipped you'll be to make strategic decisions that drive your restaurant's success.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, dear listeners, we'll have a treasure trove of resources in the show notes to help you continue your VAT voyage.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to dive in, explore those resources, and connect with fellow restaurateurs who've mastered this culinary chess game.
Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, right? Chefs, restaurateurs, food lovers, united by our passion for delicious experiences.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this VAT adventure. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of UAE restaurant VAT. Remember, with a dash of knowledge, a sprinkle of strategy, and a whole lot of culinary passion, you can turn those VAT complexities into opportunities for flavor and financial success. Until next time, happy cooking.